What is going on? Justin here, and today I'm going to walk you through my latest kayak setup. This is the XTR130 from Bonafide Fishing. In my eyes, this is one of the best platforms on the market. It allows you to do all sorts of things while also keeping your boat super clean. You'll notice one thing about this kayak is that it doesn't look like there's a whole much going on just because of the sheer size of this thing. But let's start off at the bow. This past week I went down to Louisiana, so I wanted to make sure that I had a shallow water anchor. So before I left, I installed the XTR130 bow plate, and then I offset a micro anchor from Power Pole, and this is also hardwired into my battery located underneath the hatch. The actual power pole itself is stored conveniently to the right side of the paddler. I got the 6-foot option versus the 8. Since it is located up at the bow, I did not want this thing swinging around like a pendulum, and I can easily store it whenever not in use. The power pole itself is operated by the included wireless setup, so not the remote, but the actual buttons that you can install on your kayak. I've got mine sitting on the right side of my seat, directly on the track. Before I go back any further, one unique feature on this kayak, it's got an included tow hook up here at the bow. So whenever I drop my kayak into the water, I can attach this rope, push it in, and then pull it back to me up on the bank really easily. Next, I'll go over all the lights that I have on this kayak. The first being the navigation lights, so your red and green lights, and those can be activated on the aux beam control panel by clicking the front button. These are just simple rock lights that can be installed on the underside of vehicles, and you can find these on Amazon. The next light that I have is a track-mounted bar light from Naqua. This is a brand new product attached to the Captain's Bridge from Big Adventures. This can be activated using the internal light button, and then there's also a switch up underneath the bridge that can change the colors. This is a great option if you want to be seen on the water, and this is also going to be very helpful if you're launching early in the morning. You can turn this on and you'll have light to see your rods or any bait that you're going to put in the kayak. The last two lights here are more of a novelty. They're also the rock lights that are featured at the bow of the kayak, but these can be activated using the underglow feature, and you'll see why they're called underglow lights here in a second. These lights are just above the water line. They are waterproof sealed, but as you can imagine, they look pretty cool at night, but they serve really no purpose. Usually when I'm fishing, I'm also filming, so I made sure to include some charging ports throughout the kayak. So if I've got GoPros, bow and stern, those are always going to be fully charged. These are waterproof units that I got off of Amazon, and they include a USB and USB-C. I've also got a quad lock mount for my iPhone, and all of this can be turned on using the auxiliary button on the control panel. The brains of this kayak is located within the bow hatch on the XTR130. Power and all, we're gonna see a couple of different things here. We've got our aux beam control panel, so all of our electronics are fed into that control panel. We've also got a GLS-10 from Garmin. That's for the LiveScope, and all this is powered by a 12-volt, 60-amp-hour battery from Dakota Lithium. Next, I've got my two graphs. These are Garmin Ultra 2s, which can be turned on our control panel using the button called Fish Box. So that's our GLS-10. And then the power button is going to turn on both of these 10-inch units. Depending on how I'm fishing, I usually keep navigation on one screen and LiveScope on the other screen. More oftentimes than not, I'm fishing somewhere with no service, so I always keep my inReach Mini on my kayak. And the cool thing about the Ultra 2s, they wirelessly connect, and you can text back to anybody in your contact list, even if you don't have cell phone service. Since all my wiring and batteries are located elsewhere, that frees up this entire hatch for accessories, baits, tackle, you name it. The motor pushing this kayak is the new Garmin Force Current. I've got my wireless foot braces here set up where these stock foot braces come on the XTR130. There's multiple different ways to controlling this kayak. You have the foot braces, you have your wireless remote, your Garmin watch, or you can use auto guidance utilizing the Ultra 2s. This might be a little bit hard to see on the screen, but go to your map, you can click on a location or waypoint, hit Route 2, and then you can add as many turns as you want, click Done, and then engage your trolling motor, and your motor will take you there. Using the auto guidance feature is definitely my favorite way to fish. If you've got a waypoint that you know you want to go to, you just hit start, and you can hands-free fish on your way there. This remote is pretty cool too. It comes with I call it a Wii remote feature. So depending on what direction you point it, that's where the motor is gonna take you. And that's really nice if you're standing up fishing. It makes those slight little adjustments so much easier. And I don't wanna just glaze over the seat. The seat that's included with the XTR130 is a 360 swivel. It's incredible, but this is the Tempest Bass Boat seat. It's a little bit narrower, but comes with some additional cushion for those of us that have bony butts. We talked a little bit about the graphs and the GLS-10 module, so you know there's LiveScopes on the left side of the seat. I've got a Sniper marine pole that's conveniently located and can be stowed super easy. And with a simple twist, you can point in the direction that you want to fish. Directly behind the seat, you're going to see a couple of things happening. How could I best utilize this space? You'll notice I do not have a black pack because most of my gear is stored up front, but I still need rod holders. So I have a captain's bridge with 5 AR tubes from Yak Attack. That's plenty of rods for me, honestly. It's too much. Directly underneath the captain's bridge, I've got one Dakota Lithium 12 volt 100 amp hour battery that is plenty sufficient to run the Garmin Force trolling motor, but if you're familiar with that unit, it also takes 24 volts. So I've got 2 100 amp hour batteries tied together. I get additional distance and I get an additional mile an hour on my Garmin unit. These 2 batteries are solely responsible for powering the trolling motor. So when I tell you this thing will run forever, it will run forever. Lastly, I've got my transducer installed on the stern of the kayak. It's in a very convenient location and it's really easy to install. Am I forgetting anything? Hopefully that's it for now. Appreciate y'all for watching. That was the complete walkthrough of my XTR130. Hopefully I've given you some inspiration for your next kayak build.